Sunday edition. It is Sunday, isn't it, Mike? Because it's your host, Matthew Lyle, joined by Buck Nasty himself. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Just got back home from Chicago. That's a different type of cold up there. I'm so glad to be home. Man, it's ridiculous up there.
Yeah, we had some. We always got to start by talking the weather. It seems to be a weekly thing. It was cold this week, but it was like a dry cold. I could manage that cold. It was 35, but it didn't feel 35. Which,
Matthew,
yeah.
Let me tell you something crazy here. We left Thursday to go to Chicago. It was 65 degrees here. When we got around Indy, they were spraying that icer stuff on the road. It was 55 degrees still, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a tornado coming through that area and whatnot. By the time we got to Chicago, it was -3 degrees outside. Wow. So it goes from 65 to -3 in a matter of 4 hours.
So if we have any Bill Nyes listening, I have a question. If without going into the science, if temperature, it cracks me up when you hear it's 35 degrees, but it feels like 20 degrees. Well, if it feels like 20 degrees, then why isn't it 20 degrees? That's my question. Like if someone says the thing on the stove, the little stove top is whatever it is 0 degrees, but when you turn the stove on, that makes it get to 100 degrees. Then isn't the thing 100 degrees? I don't know. Let's. I'm just saying because I had this conversation. I said, hey, it didn't feel. It was like Saturday maybe. I was like, hey, it doesn't feel that bad out, and they're like, yeah, it's 35, and I was like, well, it feels like 50, and they're like, oh, it's because of the sun. Well, if it feels like 50 because of the sun, then why isn't it 50 degrees?
Because the air temperature is a certain percentage, and then the windshield and the heat factor is like how your body feels, because your body gives off that 100-degree temperature thing, and like when the wind blows, it takes away that heat from your cubicle, so it makes it feel like it's -20 degrees or 0 degrees.
Well, we definitely have no listeners now, so moving on. A disclaimer, and nothing against him. Mike's a very busy man, and it happens to us all. For the sake of candid, Mike hasn't got to enjoy the entirety of the Mississippi State game. So we are going to recap that. But first, Mike, I have to, and I don't know how educated you are on the situation, but I have to start with a bang. Billy's not here, but I have to go unpopular opinion, and I want your unpopular opinion. So I'm asking about a situation where you really have irons in both fires. There was a rumor Friday that Matt House, Kentucky defensive coordinator, was going to take over as Kansas City's linebacker coach. This morning, story came out, said it wasn't going to happen. Then rumors came out that Kentucky had blocked it. I don't know exactly what his contract is, but a lot of times teams will have, if you're not going to take a step up, if you're not going to take a head coaching position, we're not going to allow, whatever it may be. Right. Either way, the rumor is Kentucky blocked it. I don't know if that's true or not. There's a lot of people looking for answers. And then they're starting to be the defenders, which I'm a huge Kentucky fan, but I can call a spade a spade. And there's a lot of defenders saying, oh, no, they just offered him more. Kentucky and Mark Stoops and Matt House has not made any kind of statement yet. Since you are a big Kentucky fan, but potentially even a bigger Kansas City Chiefs fan, first off, what do you think of the situation? What do you think happened? And what's your thoughts on whatever your other thoughts are?
First of all, let me address the situation by them saying it is a equal move. So maybe his contract saying that he can't take a linebacking coach from Kentucky and go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, if you are thinking that way, you are thinking wrong, because it is definitely a step up to go from the college ranks to the NFL ranks. I would even go as far as saying if you are a defensive coordinator and you become a position coach in the NFL, that's definitely a step up. So kind of get that idea out of the out of the door. I mean, it is definitely a step up. Now, as far as what I think of the situation, I'm not hurt either way, because Kentucky does still have their good coach, but Kansas City is really not out that much because the linebacking core needed a lot of work. So, I'm not for sure if House was quite that guy to be able to turn those guys around in the year that we have, kind of because the Kansas City defense is aging like on that side. Now, what I think really happened is Kentucky like, hey, if you stay here a couple more years, you'll be the defensive coordinator. So I think they're kind of playing that card. Like, hey, if you stay here, we'll be able to promote you up in the next year or two.
Well, to clarify, he already is defensive coordinator. I mean, he already owns that title.
Okay, yeah, right.
But the thing is, and I think that's where I agree with you. It is a step up in position because defensive coordinator in the SEC and getting your nose, it's not going to play instant dividends. Like if you were to take a skill position, like if you're an offensive coordinator in college and you go become a quarterback coaches in the NFL, it's not going to play instant dividends, but it is going. I do think it holds for a brighter future. So you
definitely have your foot in the door.
So when I say that it's a step down, I'm not speaking in terms of actual experience. I'm speaking in letter of the law. So, for example, if I'm a manager at McDonald's and I take a secretary position at Apple or Amazon, like the big company where I'm working under the CEO, by title, it is a downgrade. Even though the door that I've just walked in, the experience I'm about to gain will set me on to an entirely new and better career path. And I think that's where the language in the contract may be. I don't know. My thing is, there's a lot of muddy water. I don't know. If you're a Chiefs fan, if all this falls harmlessly to the ground, nobody's going to come away hurt. Like if it comes about that, yeah, Kentucky, he did want to take it, but Kentucky offered him more money, and he was like, forget it, I'll stay here for more money, then that's fine because, like you said, Kentucky, we're going to need all the help we can get on that defense rebuilding next year. It'd be great to have him and Stoops working together. And to the Kansas City point, well, let's be honest. If they win a Super Bowl, the defense will have to help, but it's going to be 110% Patrick Mahomes in that offense. It's not like they're trying to replace Dick LeBeau from the all-time greats. I mean, they just had a really bad offense, and really bad defense, and they're just trying to get a little worse defense. You know what I'm saying? So Kentucky obviously needs to keep him more, and that's why I honestly, and this is going to be the unpopular opinion, I think Kentucky said enough's enough. We're tired of being almost here and everything crumbling. In 2009, we were almost here. Rick Brooks decided to retire, and we hit the skids. I think they said, your contract says the only way you can get out of this, or the only way we will permit you out of this, is if you take another head coach job, and this isn't it. We're right here. Enough's enough. We're right here. We're going to do everything we can to get this turn. Because like we've talked how important that 10-win season is and how important this season is. I wouldn't be surprised. And if Kentucky fans think that their precious university isn't pure, Kentucky wouldn't be the first organization / program to ever do something out of spite. I mean, how many times whether you go New Orleans Pelicans and Anthony Davis, whether you go Pittsburgh Steelers and Le'Veon Bell, it wouldn't be the first organization, and it wouldn't be the first college team to ever say, no, you made a commitment to us, and you're going to deal with it or else. So,
just to add to the fact here, I really hope Kentucky isn't playing that card because it makes you kind of maybe not want to coach as hard, like if you would, if they just offered you more cash, so let's definitely hope the issue is a cash issue or maybe a coach in waiting or something to that effect. Hopefully they're just not trying to block him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just, sometimes in life you get further and you understand better and you're able to handle things better if you take off the rose-colored glasses. Now, I would love it if they went to him and said, you know what, if you want to go, you can go, but we really would like to keep you here, and this is how much we would like to keep you here. And they gave him, whatever he wants, whether it be money, whether it be emotive, whether it be full control of the I don't know, whatever they said. I would love for it to be a mutual agreement. But I don't think you can, because, mind you, Stoops, the program, and House has not came out and said anything about it at all.
Right.
Even very, publications like Lexington Herald's like, we need answers. And I think you got to prepare yourself. It's almost like when, and I hate to not to mention bad voodoo, but it's almost like when Louisville and North Carolina and Kansas was getting in all this trouble, and there was literally, 80, 90 schools. And to sit there and assume that Kentucky, whether it was their fault or not, was 1,000,000,000% clean is setting yourself up to failure. To assume that human nature is never going to come into something because it's your favorite sets you up for failure. So I think more than likely it's going to be like a big mess. Like there's not going to be one clear winner or one clear loser. But I think if it would have been 1,000% mutual understanding, like Matt House wanted to stay here just as bad as he wanted to go there, and we broke the deal with a nice promise, I think we would have heard about it already. So
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Especially since like all the every publication that makes blogs and reports, ESPN. I mean, we're getting the likes of Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter weighing in on it. I mean, if with as big as it was, I think if it was clean water, if the water was not murky at all, we would have heard a solid ironclad explanation.
Just for the record, I do like that UK is keeping this in-house. Like they are kind of keeping it hush-hush. So I do like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm fine with what they do. I just wanted your thoughts on it. I do think you're setting yourself up for disappointment if you think that we're the squeaky clean and never going to cause controversy. Because at the end of the day, our athletic director has a job to do as well. Our coaching staff has a job to do.
If my phone rings, can you wave at me?
So
True.
We're going to move on. Like I said, that's all speculation. Just wanted your thoughts because you are one of the few Kentucky and Kansas City fans, and you just happen to be. I think you share equally. It's not like you prefer one over the other for the most part. So just wanted your thoughts on that.
I do think there's a lot of Kansas City fans around here, though. Like I see them floating around, but I think most of them are Louisville fans.
Yeah. So we're going to move
Losers.
on. Absolutely. So we're going to move on. Recap. Like I said, Mike had to miss the game, and he's got recap, so he's definitely a knowledgeable fellow. He's going to throw his input in. Recapping the Mississippi State game, we came out firing. I mean, PJ was hitting threes. Everybody was making noise. We go into halftime up 15, 40-25. We scored coming out. It was 42-25. And then at that point, they just started being aggressive. The Mississippi State team that Mike had warned you about all week reared its ugly head. With my prediction, Mike, I was so wrong that I was right. Instead of, I said it was going to be A or B, it was literally A the first half and B the second. Because if you listen to the last week's show, I said that there was going to be no in between. It was either going to be A from tip off to buzzer, we was going to dominate and whoop butt, or we was going to be a dogfight all the way to the final possession. And I said there would be no in between. And clearly there was a huge in between, but it was so huge that literally I was right. From tip off to the halftime buzzer, we abused them. We held them to 25 points and a half. We literally did everything we wanted. And then the second half, we played sloppy. We made fouls. We missed buckets. And we found ourselves there at the end. We did kind of get shafted out of a possession there. But we found a way to win. Actually, one thing that helped us was Ashton Hagans went 1-1 down the line on free throws, which made it, I think, a 3-point game. They came down, and instead of trying to shoot a three, they went right to the basket, got blocked. We went down, hit another free throw. It was a 4-point game, and the rest is history. So, Mike, knowing what you know and knowing how I explained it, are you any less concerned, more confident, less confident? Because depending on how you want to look at this, you can find concerns or excitement either way.
So I've been playing this concern card like all year and conservative, like, hey, hold the brakes, yada yada yada, and I'm still going to hold that card. I think, just because like we've kind of said, like this is a team that doesn't know how to put the nail in the coffin, and I think that showed us that in the second half, and like let's just think outside the box here. Say we jump up on Tennessee like 16 points going today. going into halftime. We have to come out that second half and definitely put the nail in the coffin early because Tennessee is a great team, and then they can come back and basically score and they can beat us by 5 or 6 points after being down 16 points. So that's a little concerning that we did not put the nail in the coffin early in the second half, just to give them no chance, no hope. Now on the flip coin, I'm very, very positive because PJ Washington still got 23 points. He had another great game, and I think his confidence is sky high, and we definitely need that going into the LSU and Tennessee games this week.
Yeah, I've not seen enough to echo any concerns or any consistent concerns. Now, the obvious concern that I have going down the stretch into March is that this isn't the NBA. One bad game and it's over. It's
definitely.
You can't. You're not given the luxury of we played like doo-doo, but we're going to be fine because we're going to learn
back
from
in 2 games.
Yeah. Or they got they beat us on the road, so now they get to come back. No, it doesn't work like that in the pros, and that is a little concerning because anybody can get you on any day. But I've seen enough to know that if we can get these guys' attention, we're going to be fine. I think the biggest fear you have is kind of the unknown that going into March, we've talked over and over, Mike, that we think that this is going to be a gauntlet to get that championship done. And it's been fine because there's been a gauntlet all season. The thing that I think is going to catch us, picture this with me, if you will, Mike. We come out, we play a pretty scrappy 16 seed or a 15 seed, whatever we end up being. We go into the second round. We play a scrappy IU team. There's that rivalry. Maybe even a Memphis team because Anthony Hardaway already hates us, and there's that rivalry there with recruits. Then we go to the Sweet 16. We play a very pesky team, a Kansas State team that's very gritty. We go into the Elite Eight. We play a Duke. We just play all these tough teams. And then you get to the championship game and you play North Carolina State. Something happens and you find yourself in the Final Four versus a 10 seed.
Right.
And we've just been playing so great that we come in there relaxed. And guess what? It's the Final Four. Anybody can beat you. That's my concern because I've seen it happen too much at Kentucky. I've seen us make too many great runs, beat too many powerhouse teams, only to get caught off guard by UConn down the stretch. So that would be my concern, just because these guys seem to be a snowball team. If things are going great, when
things are going real good,
yeah, and actually, almost to the point that I made against Mississippi State about no middle ground. I don't really want a middle ground game. I either want a game where everything's going great or everything's going horrible, because they almost seem to be aware when things are going horrible to stop and make it go good. It's when things are going bad, but they're winning by 10, and then things are still going bad, and they're winning by 8, and things are still going bad, and then with 2 minutes to go, you're down 2. And you haven't had time to turn things around yet. So I'm a little nervous about that, but as far as the games go, it's just, can we keep winning until we get to March? Because that's all Cal cares about is seeding, and I can't blame him. So, it's just, I hate to sound like that because games do matter. Every game does matter, but yeah,
as of right now, the games, they don't really matter as much because right now, I feel like, let's say we even were to lose 4 or 5 games, I still think we are in a position like we played enough games to be still a top 5, maybe top 6 seed even. So we really need to focus on just playing great team basketball right now.
Well, actually, I think that's a disappointment because the rankings came out because the NCAA basketball decided that halfway through the season they were going to take a page out of the in the football book and do like a pre-peek at the rankings. And right now we're the best 2 seed. So,
we are ranked 5th, so
right.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So, and there's going to be some perks that come to that because if depending on whatever your thoughts of the perk is, they can't put us against Duke because you can't have the best 2 seed playing the best 1 seed. There's just some hoops you got to jump through to get the matchup, which doesn't really mean anything because if the NCAA wants us to be in Duke's bracket, we're going to be in Duke's bracket. But I think it's all just winning the games till we get the test. Because when we get to Tennessee, if we win by 20 or we win at all, then everything's great. But if we lose by 20, it doesn't matter if that's our only other loss. There's still going to be a whole lot of concerns.
Yeah, definitely. Like I hear what you're saying on that point.
So with that, we're getting to I'm losing track of my days. On Tuesday's game, 7:00, LSU at home. What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are I've been kind of hating LSU like all year. I think they're a highly overrated team. They really haven't played a lot of teams in non-conference. They've only played a couple good teams in the SEC, and they lost to that one. They are 9-1 right now. I think they're tied for second if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even tied for first. I don't know. Like I don't have the SEC standings in front of me right now, but I think Kentucky at home, we are going to try to overlook these guys because they are a underdog team here, but because we're looking for Saturday, obviously. But I think we're going to go in there. I think we're going to play well at home. It's like we're going to have that sluggish 5 or 6 minutes in the first half, but then after that, it's going to be clear sailing. We're going to shut down that point guard, Waters. I think his name is. He he's averaged about 16, 17 points per game. He is their leader. Higgins is going to shut him down, and their team's going to fall apart quick.
Yeah, they are tied second with us. We both have one conference loss. And honestly, I haven't looked at the rankings. The rankings aren't out yet, but I didn't look at what occurred over the weekend other than the Kentucky game. Don't be surprised if they find themselves in the top 25, which works well in our favor.
Well, they're already ranked 21st.
Are they? Okay, so like I said, I haven't had a chance to really keep an eye on them, but that works even better in our favor. When they can come in, when you can get a team that comes in and the Kentucky kids can feel like they're about to get benefited from a win, that's when you see us play our best. And with that being the case, that makes me the happiest. Knowing that they're going to come in ranked at Rupp, just days from Tennessee, so it can go one or two ways, really. But one thing that can really, I think, can happen is Tennessee is sold out. So basically, that tells me that everybody in Big Blue Nation wants to be a part of this atmosphere. So what do you do if you can't get into the big party? You try to get into the pre-party. You try to sneak into the after party. So I'm hoping that this is a mini version of what we're going to see, because everybody who couldn't get to the Tennessee game hopefully can lap up those LSU tickets. No, any final thoughts? So give me your final prediction on that, Mike.
So I think this is the game that where like everything clicks. It would shooting, it goes down. LSU just plays a horrible game. So I'm I want to say 89-65.
All right, he has given us a 24-point win. I have not watched LSU enough. Give me LSU. Give me Kentucky, 88-72. I don't know how much. I don't know what kind. They're a pesky defense team. Are they a high-volume shooting team? I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first to admit, haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of watching LSU. But yeah, I think Kentucky does win easy. I think the hype is real. And on this Kentucky team, I've said it, loved them from everything just starts clicking day by day. I'm excited. I think this is the game that you see us play where I think, Mike, this is where you throw that card away and you truly enjoy the Kentucky-Tennessee game that's coming on Saturday.
Yeah, just to add to your point here, LSU does average almost 85 points per game. So I think their shooting is just going to be horrible, all game. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if they came out hot, if they came out shooting really well, maybe hitting 4 of their first 5 3-pointers, and then just kind of Kentucky hitting those clamps and holding them to a 30-point second half after maybe a 20-point second half after giving up a pretty rough first half.
I think that would be awesome. That'd be the best feeling in the world going into 10 and see. Like I would much rather have a better first half than a second, or sorry, a better second half than a first half.
Yeah, absolutely. If you told me I was going to play historically bad in one half and historically great in another half, pick your half. Give me historically great in the second half because you got to factor in momentum. You know, if we go out there, if we're playing a huge game, let's just say Duke, because that'd be a historical matchup of that proportion if that happened, and we go into halftime down 50-20, but you told me we could win, I would have said our second half would have been nuts. That we probably won 80-70 with just an absurd second half. All right, Mike.
I would definitely like that a lot.
I would love that. See, that's the thing, and I'm going to kind of wrap up our predictions with this because, like I said, we're getting to the point where we just need a win. We just need to see a W in that column. Whether no matter what grid you look at, some people look at W, some people look at there's like a little chart and there's a green number next to it means you won. I just wins are matter. But I want to play with fire here real quick, Mike. If we play Duke for the national championship game, don't hate me when you hear this. I hope Duke comes out and gives us that work.
In the first half?
In the first half. No, definitely not the whole game. But the first half, I would love it because, and I can speak on it, as a Patriots fan, it was so horrible when the game went into halftime and the New England was down 28-3, which at that time was you're not coming back from it, especially in a big game like the Super Bowl. And to see what social media had become, to see the ridicule and the nitpick and the tearing down, to see social media tear apart. This team, and to just heap praise on Team A while tearing down Team B, only to have it slowly pulled off like a Band-Aid was great. And I would I only wanted this to happen if we're going to pull it off and win. But I would love going into halftime, Kentucky Duke, we're down 56-34. You get on social media, and it's just, Duke's the greatest, Zion's the greatest. Basically a microcosm of what you've seen the entire season. And then have us win 88-80. Just to slowly, and then just because obviously you spend that whole next 3 weeks just celebrating a glorious victory, but then it just makes it so much more pure when you can just spend the next 3 months going through social media and reading how it changed. Duke, just imagine Duke goes up 10. Zion's the greatest, best player ever, best team ever, Coach K's ever, Cal's overrated. Then, this Kentucky team's got fight, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Look at them think they can try. Only to then have your timeline go silent, knowing that there's nothing else to say, that history has just been taken from them.
I could see my household right now. I could see Jason passing the ball to the wall, like, "Come on, you can do better than that." Rah, rah. Like my wife tossing her like her hat. We suck.
Just chipping away. Because let me tell you, like I said, I know a lot of people listening probably aren't a Patriots fan. They hate them, but it's the only thing I can compare it to that I'm speaking of. When Atlanta went up 7-0. That offense is nice. Everybody chirp, chirp, chirp. Offense is nice. 14-0. Man, Tom Brady can't keep up with this offense. 14-3, 21-3. Then when that pick six happened, it's over.
He's old.
And then everything that good had happened in the third quarter was so lackadaisical that it didn't even matter to them. Tom Brady scored. This is going to look respectable. It doesn't even matter. He's still got to get 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. And then it's tied. And it's deathly quiet. No one has – and that's what I want. I want everyone to put it away because the only other option is just Kentucky to come out there and do 40 minutes of shellacking, which isn't going to happen. I just love that having being your back against the wall, everyone saying, it's over, Cal's overrated, get rid of him. Even find out who the pure fans are. Go through the Kentucky groups and see who are saying, because when you're down 30 points at halftime, you pretty much consider it over.
Yep.
Who in the Kentucky group saying, "Hey, great season, Cal. Hey, we pulled it together," and who's saying, "This is why we got to get rid of Cal." And then I'm going to screenshot every one of those, and I want to see what those exact individuals say when Cal gets it together and wins that title. So,
are you going to make like a little YouTube highlight quip and
I'm going to play it,
walking
and then I'm going to play
like the Hulk
the Arms of an Angel song.
Cal sucks. So this.
So Mike, exactly. So
it'd be perfect.
I say that, and
cue up the music.
I don't want it to go the opposite way. I don't want to go in halftime losing by 30 and then lose by 40. I don't want that by any means. So okay.
So it's like, since we're on this little train here, do you think if we make it to the championship game and then the Duke Blue Devils are not there, does this championship kind of have an asterisk on there? Like,
never,
you guys
because
never played
every other sport, I get where you're coming from.
Game.
Because in the NBA, the NFL maybe not so much because it's so hard to get a Super Bowl, but the NBA, it's a best of 7. So if something happens, if a huge injury happens, but typically, I don't know how many times in the you go through each individual year and you tell me who the best team was at the beginning of March. Typically, that team in no way is standing at the end of March. Very seldom has that happened. 2012, 2013, everybody thought that Wichita State team was going to be the one that got it done. They lost in the second round. The 2014, everybody thought it was that Florida team. They were undefeated in SEC play. They had all these seniors. They couldn't be stopped. Lost in the Final Four. 2015, I hate to admit it, that Kentucky team, people was like, go ahead and ship them the trophy. I mean, that's the best comparison. If anyone says that, because it's going to be a Duke fan that says it. I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because I'm preparing myself for the pettiness. It's going to be a Duke fan that brings that up, right? If anybody brings that point up, it's going to be Duke. And then the question you ask them is, well, then is your 2015 championship not as good? Because you didn't have to beat the undefeated Kentucky. You had to beat Wisconsin. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they benefited from us. I don't think I think that team would have been so hyped to play Duke, and that team was so beneath us, we would have dog walked us. It was just we got caught off guard by a sleeping giant in Wisconsin. So, in college, it's so – they were, but the myth of 40 and 0
pretty good,
was
though.
so high.
They were still pretty solid.
You got to remember, Mike, there was conversations could this – I don't know. LeBron was – that was the year LeBron did go back to Cleveland, so I forgot what team it was they tried to compare us against. There was some teams, they were like, oh, could they beat this team? Could they beat that team? And the NBA teams. And then you start looking and you're like, oh, I think it was the 76ers. Could they beat that 76er team? And you're like, oh, could they? So, look, there's been better.
Yeah. I was living in Kansas at the time, and I was so sick and tired of hearing that.
Which just shows you how hard it is to do, how little that matters. So if you wanted to have that argument, if with LeBron being in the West, if Golden State beat some little team to win the title, and you're like, oh, you didn't beat them or you didn't do this, that conversation happens. They have that all the time. But college basketball, there's been much better teams than this Duke team to not get it done, and you don't take anything from them. I mean,
yeah, I definitely understand that. I'm just saying that because I don't anticipate Duke making it to.
I don't know.
Final Four.
I do. Hey, no, trust me, man. It's very popular in this area.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know. I hate to make the prediction. I see them either losing early or winning or losing very late. Like I don't see them being a team that fizzles out in the Elite Eight.
Same thing with the Kentucky. I either see us.
I just miss getting back to the Final Four because when Cal first got here, it was kind of something that you just assumed was always going to happen. The first year he got us to the Elite Eight, and you're like, okay, those were all freshmen. The second year, Final Four. Yeah. Third year, national title. The 13 year, you're a little concerned. I'm peeking what happened. He got you to the NIT. Then 14, you're back in the Final Four. 15, you're back in the final. You're almost on the verge of undefeatedness. And then it's been kind of a long drought. And I mean, obviously the teams he's had haven't been near as good. but it's getting concerning. And I'll be honest with you, I just want to get back to the Final Four. Once that happens, then we can look at the landscape and say, what's this championship run looking like? All right, Mike. It's very good possibility, and it gets scary because
definitely really good
like
possibility that we make it.
We're crossing the threshold. For so long, we've been in that threshold of struggling throughout the year. You don't stand a chance. Oh crap, you're in the Final Four. And then we've gotten into some other ones where you're like, oh, you better win it. I'm a little nervous. We're getting to that threshold where people's like, oh, you haven't won the title yet? They're starting to ask, you're not a 1 seed yet? Why aren't you a 1 seed yet? And that makes me a little nervous. But, Mike, we're going to wrap up. We're going to end the show like we always do real quick. I know you don't have too much to go off of. You got us beating LSU. What about Tennessee at home? There you go. At Missouri.
I'm going to change my pick and change that to a win. I'm going to change that to a win as well. I saw the Tigers play over the weekend.
At Auburn.
They aren't as present as I thought they were earlier this year.
Arkansas.
Win. That's
at Tennessee.
Win. Yeah. Win. I still got to weigh on a loss on that side. I just feel like we're going to drop one game for the rest of the year, and hopefully that is the game.
See, Mike, we're on the same page.
That's a win.
Slowly but surely, I led this horse to water, and now he's drinking. We are both sitting here with 4 losses, and we're going to play this game every show just because I think it's kind of fun, and it kind of shows you because you learn things every week as it goes on. But right now, we already have 3 losses. I don't think we finished the regular season with 3 losses, and I do think one more is coming. And until I see it be somewhere other than Tennessee, I'm only going to give that to Tennessee. So I've been saying I think we finished the regular season 27-4. That's going to stay true until either we beat Tennessee and we still haven't lost at Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Or we lose somewhere beforehand and just look ugly, and I'm like, well, now we got to reevaluate everything. So,
just to add a little asterisk to my picks here, if we drop Tennessee at home, I think we'll lose to Missouri on the road because there'll be that hangover.
You said it,
and then we'll gain traction again.
I'm actually going to go. Arkansas. I am going to take your theory. I think if we win all the games and then we win, we've not lost any more games since going into Tennessee. We go into Tennessee and get a win. I will follow that up with say, okay, we're going to get that 4th loss at Ole Miss because I think the exact opposite happens. You get that big win. It's so passionate. It's so amazing. You just took down probably number 1 team in the country by then, depending on whatever happens after this Saturday. Yeah, I mean, you take that. I could see it slipping up then, but that's really about it. One way or the other. I just think when you play a number 1 team in the country, a hangover comes one way or the other. Yeah, it just has to. And if it doesn't, I'll
win or loss.
That'll be a totally another discussion because that's a whole other can of worms that you have to add into the equation. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mike. That's it. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say before we write out?
Guys, I am really excited for these next 7-8 games here. It's going to be a really fun trip. Enjoy.
All right, Mike. You heard it here first.
Valentine's Day gift too.
Mike's buying everybody's wife's Valentine's Day gift. We are out. Thank you for tuning in to Big Blue Breakdown.